Assalamu alaikum fam, hope you're doing well. We're continuing our reading of the Jehovah's Witness version of the Bible. As you know, I'm a scholar, I am a Muslim. This will help in my understanding of Christianity, specifically the Jehovah's Witnesses, so that if one day I ever am doing dawah, I will have an effective way of communicating not only their ideas, but my ideas against theirs. We are in Joshua chapter 6, picking up on verse 1. Now Jericho was tightly shut up because of the sons of Israel, no one going out and no one entering. And Jehovah went on to say to Joshua, See, I have given Jericho and its king, the valiant mighty men, into your hand. And all you men of war must march around the city, going round the city once. That is the way you should do for 6 days. And 7 priests should carry 7 ram horns before the ark. And on the 7th day you should march round the city 7 times, and the priests should blow horns. And it must occur that when they sound with the horn of the ram, when you hear the sound of the horn, all the people should shout a great war cry. And the wall of the city must fall down flat, and the people must go up, each one straight before him. Accordingly, Joshua, the son of Nun, called the priests, and said to them, Take up the ark of the covenant, and 7 priests should carry 7 rams' horns before the ark of Jehovah. And he went on to say to the people, Pass on the march round the city, and the war-equipped force should pass on ahead of the ark of Jehovah. So it came about just as Joshua said to the people, and 7 priests carrying 7 ram horns before Jehovah passed on, and blew the horns, and the ark of the covenant of Jehovah was following them. And the war-equipped force was going ahead of the priests, and blowing the horns, while the rear guard was following the ark with a continual blowing on the horns. Now Joshua had commanded the people, saying, You must neither shout nor let your voices be heard, and no word should come out of your mouths until the day when I say to you, Shout! Then you must shout. And he had the ark of Jehovah go marching round the city, going round once, after which they went to the camp, and stayed overnight in the camp. Then Joshua got up early in the morning, and the priests went carrying the ark of Jehovah. And 7 priests carrying 7 ram horns before the ark of Jehovah were walking continually, blowing the horns, and the war-equipped force was walking ahead of them, while the rear guard was following the ark of Jehovah with a continual blowing of the horns. And they went marching round the city on the 2nd day, after which they returned to camp. That was the way they did for 6 days. And it came about on the 7th day that they proceeded to get up early as soon as the dawn ascended. And they went marching around the city in this manner 7 times. Just on that day they marched round the city 7 times. And it came about on the 7th time that the priests blew the horns. And Joshua proceeded to say to the people, Shout, for Jehovah has given you the city, and the city must become a thing devoted to destruction. It, with everything that is in it, belongs to Jehovah. Only Rahab the prostitute may keep on living, she and all who are with her in the house, because she hid messengers whom we sent out. As for you people, only keep away from the thing devoted to destruction, for fear you may get a desire, and you do take some of the thing devoted to destruction, and do constitute the camp of Israel a thing devoted to destruction, and bring ostracism upon it. But all the silver and the gold, and the articles of copper and iron are something holy to Jehovah, and to the treasure of Jehovah it should go. Then the people shouted when they proceeded to blow the horns, and it came about that as soon as the people heard the sound of the horn, and the people began to shout a great war cry, Then the wall began to fall down flat. After that the people went up into the city, each one straight before him, captured the city. And they went devoting all that was in the city, from man to woman, from young man to old man, and to bull and sheep and ass, to destruction by the edge of the sword. And to the 2 men who had done the spying on the land, Joshua said, "Go into the house of the woman, the prostitute, and bring out of there the woman and all who belong to her, just as you have sworn to her." So the young men who had done the spying went in and brought out Rahab and her father and her mother and her brothers and all who belonged to her. Yes, all her family relationships they brought out, and they proceeded to set them down outside the camp of Israel. And they burned the city with fire and everything that was in it, only the silver and the gold, and the articles of copper, and the iron they gave to the treasure of Jehovah's house. And Rahab the prostitute, and the household of her father, and all who belonged to her, Joshua preserved alive. And she dwells in the midst of Israel down to the day, because she hid the messengers whom Joshua sent out to spy on Jericho. Then Joshua had an oath pronounced at that particular time, saying, "Cursed may the man be before Jehovah who gets up and does build this city, even Jericho. At the forfeit of his firstborn, let him lay the foundation of it, and at the forfeit of his youngest, let him put up its doors." So Jehovah proved to be with Joshua, and his fame came to be in all the earth. 7. And the sons of Israel went committing an act of unfaithfulness respecting the thing devoted to destruction, and that Achan, the son of Carmi, the son of Zabdi, the son of Zahra, of the tribe of Judah, took some of a thing devoted to destruction. At this Jehovah's anger grew hot against the sons of Israel. Then Joshua sent men out from Jericho to Ai, which is close to Bethaven, to the east of Bethel, and said to them, "Go up and spy on the land." Accordingly the men went up and spied on Ai. After that they returned to Joshua, and said to him, "Let not all the people go up. Let about 2,000 men, or about 3,000 men go up and strike Ai. Do not weary all the people with going there, for they are few." So about 3,000 men of the people went up there, but they took to flight before the men of Ai. And the men of Ai got to strike down about 36 men of them, and they went pursuing them from before the gate, as far as Shebarim, and continued striking them down on the descent. Consequently, the heart of the people began to melt, and became as water. At this Joshua ripped his mantles and fell upon his face to the earth before the ark of Jehovah until the evening. And he, the older men of Israel, and they kept putting dust upon their heads. And Joshua went on to say, "Alas, sovereign Lord Jehovah, why did you bring this people all the way across the Jordan just to give us into the hand of the Amorites, for them to destroy us? And if only we had taken it upon ourselves and continued dwelling on the other side of the Jordan. Excuse me, O Jehovah, but what can I say after Israel has turned his back before his enemies, and the Canaanites and all the inhabitants of the land will hear of it? They will certainly surround us and cut our name off from the earth. And what will you do for your great name?" In turn, Jehovah said to Joshua, "Get up, you. Why is it that you are falling upon your face? Israel has sinned, and they have also overstepped my covenant that I laid as a command upon them, and they have also taken some of the things devoted to destruction, and have also stolen, and also kept it secret, have also put it among their own articles. And the sons of Israel will not be able to rise up against their enemies. The back is what they will turn before their enemies, because they have become a thing devoted to destruction. I shall not prove to be with you again unless you annihilate the thing devoted to destruction out of your midst. Get up, sanctify the people, and you must say, sanctify yourselves tomorrow, for this is what Jehovah the God of Israel has said. A thing devoted to destruction is in your midst, O Israel. You will not be able to rise up against your enemies until you people have removed the thing devoted to destruction from your midst. And you must present yourselves in the morning, tribe by tribe. And it must occur that the tribe that Jehovah will pick will come near by family, and the family that Jehovah will pick will come near, household by household, and the household that Jehovah will pick will come near, able-bodied man by able-bodied man. And it must occur that the one picked with the thing devoted to destruction will be burned with fire, and all that belongs to him, because he has overstepped the covenant of Jehovah, and because he has committed a disgraceful folly in Israel. Interesting. He's in trouble. Then Joshua rose early in the morning and had Israel come near, tribe by tribe of it, and the tribe of Judah had got to be picked. Next he had the families of Judah come near and pick the family of Zerhites, after which he had the family of Zerhites come near, able-bodied man by able-bodied man, and Zabdi got to be picked. Finally, he had his household come near, able-bodied man by able-bodied man, and Achan the son of Carmi, son of Zabdi, the son of Zehra, of the tribe of Judah, got to be picked. Then Joshua said to Achan, my son, render please glory to Jehovah, the God of Israel, and make confession to him, and tell me please, what have you done? Do not hide it from me. At this Achan answered Joshua, and said, for a fact, I have sinned against Jehovah, the God of Israel. This way and that way I have done, when I got to see among the spoil an official garment from Shinar, a good-looking one. Oh, so you stole a shirt. 100 shekels of silver, and 1 gold bar, 50 shekels being its weight. Then I wanted them, and I took them, and look, they are hidden in the earth in the midst of my tent with the money underneath it. At once Joshua sent messengers, and they went running to the tent. And look, it was hidden in his tent, with the money underneath it. So they took them from the midst of the tent, and brought them to Joshua and all the sons of Israel, and poured them out before Jehovah. Joshua and all Israel with him now took Achan the son of Zerah, and the silver, and the official garment, and the bar of gold, and his sons, and his daughters, and his bull, and his ass, and his flock, and his tent, and everything that was his, and they brought them up to low plain of Achor. Then Joshua said, why have you brought ostracism upon us? Jehovah will bring ostracism upon you on this day. With that, all Israel went pelting him with stones, after which they burned them with fire. Thus they stoned them with stones, and they proceeded to raise up over him a big pile of stones, down to this day. At this Jehovah turned away from his hot anger. That is why the name of that place has been called Low Plain of Achor, down to this day.